Xenoverse 1 was a lot of fun to work with. What was your most favorite thing to work with the second game?
ゼロバース1、おそらく楽しみながら作ったんだろうなっていうのはなんとなくこちらで伝わってくるんですけども、ゼロバース2を作っている上で一番楽しかったのは何ですか？
なるほど。そうですね。一番最初にやっていたのは今お見せできているその街を作っていくっていうところですね。新しい要素としてポンポンといってまた大きな街を作ったところに関しては、ここに何を詰め込んでやろうと、どういうふうにしてやろうというところに関してはやっぱり一番頭というか面白くできないかなというところで悩みながら楽しみました。
Right, so this time I think you guys have seen the presentation. Have you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we introduced a new hub city called the Content City. It's a lot more larger than what we had in Dragon Ball Xenoverse, the first game.
Mm-hmm.
So now that we have more space, there's a lot of more content and features that we can add in there. So it was really fun thinking about what to add in there, what to include to give players a new experience. So that was a lot of fun.
Okay. This is a kind of off-topic question. Are you Team Goku, Team Vegeta?
悟空派かベジータ派かどっちですか？
そうですね。悩んでるふりしてますけど、多分ベジータですね。
He was pretending he was thinking about it, but he's on Vegeta.
Okay, obviously feedback was very important with the second game. How will you guys handle feedback the second time around actively? Because there's going to be support for next year. So if, let's say the community doesn't like one thing, but they like something else, how will you work with the community to implement the features to work better? I guess that makes sense.
So if you're saying one community likes this, but the other does?
No. So like for example, let's say there's something that's like really just the community does not like this, and you guys get the support or the information. How will you guys work with the feedback you get from the community actively over the course of the next year?
To saying, with Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, you plan on doing more post-launch support, I think. So, like, how is this team looking at community feedback? Do they plan on listening at all, or what's their kind of plan there?
ゼノバース今もうすでに言っているように、発売後もどんどん、ユーザーの意見を聞いていって、それをゲームにもどんどん反映していきたいというふうに言ってるんですけども、そこのユーザーとのやり取りってどのようにする予定なんですかって言って、例えばユーザーは本当にこれすごい嫌だっていうふうに言ったら、結構それが修正の大規模な修正が必要なものになってもそれを実装していくのかどうするのかっていうことです。
そうですね。もともと無料でアップデートするっていうそのプラン自体はまさに考えているところではあるので、それはやっぱりその中で、例えばこういうものが欲しいとかこういうものが買いてほしいとかっていう意見に対してはできる限りというかその中でやれることに関してやっていきたいなと思っているところですね。なので全てに全て答えるというよりは答えるとは思えてないんですけども、大きな意見があってその流れというのが見えるなと思ったらなるべく修正していきたいなという感じで考えています。
Alright, so we're currently looking at how to actually gather the information after the post-launch and how to carry on with maybe the free updates or so on after the release of the game.
Okay.
And like you mentioned, it may not be possible for us to actually listen to every single bit of request, but if there is like a large number of people saying we want this, we don't want this, then obviously we'll take it into consideration, and the more feedback we get, the higher the possibility is.
Right.
So we're gonna look into that as well.
Because what I want to do is I want to help. Because I mean, we all do. We between our channels we pull like 15 million views a month, and we want to be able to like, if we hear what the community wants, we want to be able to send it and help out any way to reach that feedback. Obviously not everything, but some stuff. So, I mean, I know I send Jay emails all the time, so if that helps, we'll keep doing that.
Yeah.
なのでコミュニティとしてやっぱり今たくさんのユーザーがいる場ではあるので、大量にもう情報収集というかそのフィードバックっていうのを集めることができるので、それってどのように届ければいいんですかっていうふうには。
そうですね。今明確にここっていうのがなかなか言える場所は明言できないんですけども、そういったところに関しては今後しっかり態度で示そうと思ってるんで、今後の情報出しの中でここで言えばいいんだなと、あとはここで言えばいいんだなっていうのが分かるように見せれればなというふうに思っています。
Alright, so we can't give out the exact details right now, but we are planning to show you that we really mean it when we're saying we're gonna listen to the voices of fans. So this is going to be coming up in the next coming announcement.
Right.
But then you'll be able to really know, okay, so this is where I should give out our feedback. This is where we should be giving out our opinions. So please look forward to that information.
I will say, after seeing what I saw, there's a lot that the community is going to love. So thank you. Thank you for listening. The next question I have is what was the biggest challenge this time around?
コンセプトにおける一番難しかった挑戦だったものは何ですか？
そうですね、今作っていく中でってことですね。そうですね、一番難しいのはやっぱり、正直前作で、自分のやりたかったことっていうのをだいぶやっちゃったんですよね。やりきっちゃった部分が結構あって、その中で、どれだけこう前作からこう違いを出していくのかと、新しい体験を出していくのかっていうのには本当にすごい知恵を絞りました。なのでむしろそこをそこをコンセプトにしてやっていこうとは思っていますけど、一番すごい難しくて、悩ましいことだなというふうには思っています。
Right, so the truth is, when he was working on Dragon Ball Xenoverse, the first one, he did everything that he actually wanted to do.
Okay.
He was able to accomplish a lot on that one. So, in terms of what was difficult, to be honest, the truth is, it was difficult thinking about how to make it different from Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1.
Right.
And then we're constantly thinking about new features, how to make it different, how to deliver a new experience, constantly putting that to shape. So we hope you can look forward to that.
Okay. And I guess the last question I have is, and this is just to kind of clarify something up, there's going to be support for a year. There's also going to be DLCs. That's how the game works. Can you differentiate what's going to be different from DLC and then free updates? I know you can't say everything, but is there like any clarification about that one?
ちょっと答えにくい質問
Because that one's kind of interesting. What does that mean?
You could just whatever. I think whatever we want to clarify right now. Because you can say I don't really know what you guys want to say right now. Basically, whatever we're telling people about free updates versus DLC.
Yeah.
ちょっとこれちょっと難しいなってしまうんですけども、
It's fine.
まあ1年以上、その無料アップデートで、その発売後の、アップデートにで、ゲームをサポートしていきますというふうに今言っている状態なんですけども、無料のアップデートがありつつ、おそらくどうせ DLC あるでしょう、その中でその DLC と無料アップデート、この住み分けってどのような形でされるんですか？
住み分け、もちろん詳しくはいないですね。はい、詳しくはいないですけども、前作やっぱり全くってわけじゃないですけど、無料アップデートが本当少なかったっていうのがやっぱり一番大きかったなと思っていて、届けられるその遊び、長く遊んでくださいっていうのが本当に有料のアップデートを買ってくれる人しか長く遊ぶきっかけがないっていう状態があったんで、今作はそれをちゃんと全ユーザーに提供したいっていう思いが元々あるっていうのがあるので、それを前提にコンテンツを無料アップデートの内容については今決めているというようなところが現状のステータスかなというふうに思います。
Right, so sorry, we can't go into that much. we can't tell much about this, but the reason why we're kind of focusing on post-launch free updates is because the whole concept of this game is because we want players to be able to play the game for a really long period of time.
Right.
And for the first Dragon Ball Xenoverse, we actually weren't able to do that many free updates, but we did have DLCs. So if we wanted players to play Dragon Ball Xenoverse for a long time, it was like saying, please purchase the paid DLCs. And for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, we want players to be able to play regardless of whether they buy the DLCs or not.
Right.
So that's why we're focusing on the free updates.
Okay.
That's the current status.
Okay. And I guess the last question is there something that you couldn't do in this game because of restrictions or lack of resource?
本作はまだ開発中ではあるんですけど、で実現できなかったことって何かありますか？
実現できなかったこと、今のところそうですね、ないというか、実現できてなかったとしても発売後に何とかやっていきたいなと思います。
Well, to be honest, no, there's not much things that he couldn't accomplish on this one. Because even if he couldn't do it right now, he plans to do so after the release.
Okay.
一個だけそうですね、ストーリーモードなんですけども、すごくその今回多くの方に買ってもらって、いっぱいの人に買ってもらってはいるんですけども、今回はやっぱり続編ということもありつつも、新しいユーザーのことを考えてストーリーモードを今作っています。なんで、正直その続編に対する続編の人、前作買ってる人たちに対してのアプローチっていうところに関しては、実要素も含めていろいろ入れてはいるんですけども、この続編購入した人たちだけのなんか良さみたいなストーリーモードってところがちょっと弱いなと個人には思っていて、そういうところはなんかこう今後発売後でもなんかできないかなっていうのは考えてます。
So in terms of the story mode, we are quite focusing on people who didn't purchase Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1. We want them to be able to have the same experience and be able to enjoy the story of Dragon Ball Xenoverse. And so for the people who actually played the first Dragon Ball Xenoverse, we are having a lot of features, a portion of save data carryover features as well. So I'm sure they'll enjoy that as well. But maybe at this point of time, we don't have enough, or maybe, ちょっと難しいんだけど、
ちょっと弱かったみたいな。
maybe it was a little weak for the players who played Dragon Ball Xenoverse. But we are currently planning to do, well, maybe add in more new features. This is completely up in the air, so nothing is decided. But we do want to support people who played Dragon Ball Xenoverse, the first one as well. So both in terms of the battle and the story as well.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question about so in Xenoverse 1. So say you play Xenoverse 1, is there going to be, I don't know if they can really say, but like, since you played it and you grinded a lot, is there going to be some things transferred over to Xenoverse 2? Like, you understand what I'm saying?
Like stats and stuff?
Yeah, no, not stats, but like, you know, like maybe like items or moves, you know, like, it is a sequel, so like.
So basically, like, what exactly is transferring over?
Yeah, didn't they say they're going to.
Because you can transfer your characters over, but it didn't specify what the details are for that one.
Yeah.
So, but that's one of those questions is like,
引き継ぎ要素についての質問で、具体的に何が引き継げるんですか？
じゃあ一緒です。
アイテムだろうなのかコスチュームなのかあとキャラクター引き継げるけど、そのキャラクターがどんな形で引き継がれるか。
そうですね。引き継ぎとしてはまず最初の素材という何て言うんだ情報。素材画面写真で出した今作の主人公の前にでっかい銅像があったかなと思うんですけども、あれは今作の世界でいうと前作の主人公が、英雄であるという世界観になっているので、その世界でのその銅像っていうのは、まさに自分自身のデータを引き継いだらそこがもう前作の自分自身の見た目になるというところからまず始まって、そこから、前作の、主人公の一部の技とか衣装とかっていうところを引き継げるっていうところと、もうちょっとプラスアルファで遊びやすくなるようにっていうところも考えていますし、あとストーリーも出てきます。
Alright, so since sorry. Yeah, right, sure. Yeah. I drink too much water, sorry. Alright, so since the story of Dragon Ball Xenoverse takes place a few years after Dragon Ball Xenoverse, the time patroller that you created for Dragon Ball Xenoverse, the first one, is known as a hero in this time setting. And this was included in the press kit, which you guys haven't seen since it's in a press kit. But
it's going to be the hologram.
Yeah, exactly. So if you have the save data of Dragon Ball Xenoverse, then the avatar that you were using in Dragon Ball Xenoverse will be the hologram. And also some of the items, costumes, attacks that you had on your previous avatar will be carried over to your new Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. Cool. And also the avatar that you created for the first one is going to be appearing in the story mode as well.
Ooh. Awesome. I'm glad I asked that question.
衣装とかは一部って言ってたじゃん。
He just wanted me to clarify that it's just a portion of the costumes over.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, excited.
You got anything, Leon? No, you good?
Guess it's up to me. I got a few. Hopefully you can answer these. How challenging was it to come up with the Xenoverse ending?
The first one?
The first one?
The first one,
okay.
Yeah.
僕のところわかんないですけど、ゼノバース1のエンディングを考えるのって大変でした。
1のエンディングはどういう思いで聞いてるかなって気になるんですけどね。難しくなかったですよ。そうですね。楽しく作ってたかなというふうには思いますね。はい。
Well, to be honest, it wasn't that difficult. He was really enjoying creating that ending of Xenoverse, but well, he kind of wanted to ask you why you're asking that.
Well, the ending did leave us hanging, you know, and it was kind of hinted to a lot of people that there would be a possible potential sequel, so that's why I was asking that, you know.
それを聞いた理由としては、なんか結構ユーザーに結末は委ねるみたいな感じの、要はゼノバース2を匂わせるような終わり方だったので、ちょっと気になってましたっていう。
なるほどなるほど。はいはい。
Yeah, just as that.
そうですね、すごくその、前作で出てきたそのミラトとはっていうキャラクターはすごく大事なキャラクターでして、鳥山先生がまさに自ら輝いたキャラクターで、やっぱりこのキャラクターすごい大事にしたいところもあったんで、国内ではね、ドラゴンヒーローズとかもありましたけども、いろいろキャラクター出てくるんで、殺すわけにいかないというのが一個あったかなと思います。はい
I heard this for the first time, but the characters Mila and Toa, they're original characters, but they're very important. They were created actually by Toriyama Akira, the author himself, and these guys are quite popular, and they appear in Japanese other games as well. And we couldn't quite kill them, so that's one of the reasons why it ended up like that.
Good question.
Did you know at the time of finishing the game with the ending that you gave it that there would be a sequel?
なのでそれとちょっとゼノバー2を見合わせるねエンディングだったと思うんですけど、その時からもうすでにゼノバー2はもうありきで考えてらっしゃいました。
いや、そんなことないですね。はい。そういうわけじゃないですね。
To be honest, no. He didn't have plans for Xenoverse 2 at that time.
How did you come up with the item drop feature for the clothes and the attacks? And maybe, do you think they'll return for Xenoverse 2 or we'll see something similar?
これ絶対嫌味なんですけど、コスチュームとか技とかアイテムのドロップについては誰が考えたんですかで、それはゼノバース2でも同じシステムですかっていう。
なるほど。実際確かにすごい集めにくいですね。なるべく、成長層というところで大事にしてなかったところがあったんですけども、その中でも本当に集めに、ユーザーさんからもそういった意見をもらっているのが事実だなと認識しているので、そこに関しては今作については徹底してうまくユーザーさんに、もちろん一気にバーンと出すわけじゃないですけども、なるべく早く対戦自分自身の好きなアイテムを手に入れてすぐ対戦に行きたいという気持ちを持ってもらうためにもなるべく集めやすくしたいなというふうに思ってます。集めやすくする仕方についてはちょっとまだここでは言えないですけども、はい。
Right, so I know you're saying that because you didn't like it, but because we received a lot of feedback from fans saying that some items, some costumes, some attacks were too difficult to acquire. And so we really listened to that, and we are planning to change that for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2. So we're not just going to make it super simple. We're not going to make it that easy. But we're really, currently, we can't say how at this point in time, but we're planning to change that system on how you can gather those attachments and items. Simply because we want players to be able to move on to online fighting, online matching in a very satisfying way.
Okay.
How many DLCs did you originally plan for Xenoverse 2? Like, was there more than the ones up in the air during the development that were postponed for a different project?
Two or one?
One.
Oh, for one. You said two. Oh, for one.
Okay. もともとゼノバース1では、どれぐらいの DLC が、そもそも予定されていたんですかと。で、その予定された DLC から、削って、要は例えば別の、言ってしまったゼノバース2に回したものとかってありますか？
ないですね。ないですね。
で、もともと予定されたのはもう初めから決まってたということですか？
初めから開発の途中からですね。ちょっと発売に向けて、基本的にはもうゲームとしては作り終わっていうか作り1としてしっかり成立させたものがあった上で、もうちょっと出したいねというところが結構あったんで、そういった意味ではそこから作って考えて出しました。でその上でそれ自体が、その2に対して影響があったかというと、正直、なんだろうな、全くそういった関係全くなく2が作られたので、もうなんだろう、出しながら2は考えてたって感じです。
Right. So, in terms of the number of DLCs, everything that we released was already planned during the development. So after we were done creating the base game, we realized that there was a little more that we wanted to do. So that's when we started the development of the DLCs for Dragon Ball Xenoverse 1. And there weren't actually any DLCs that were postponed for another project.
So these guys all make videos on YouTube for Dragon Ball specifically, but a lot of other games, but more specific Dragon Ball. some of their audiences really start to get really popular when Xenoverse came out, because they focused just on that, online battles, how to get different items. And so what's the combined, monthly views?
Around 15 million.
So like 15 million views per month on like their channels combined. So I want to know. I understand like the YouTube audience is different in the West than Japan. I want to know if Hirano-san has any questions or requests for these guys.
Sure.
視聴数でいうと、この方々、total and 50 million, right?
Yeah.
この方5人合わせると、YouTube 上で、1500万ぐらいの、ビュアーが1ヶ月で、いますと。すごいです。なので、ちょっと逆に作れないですね、それ。逆に平野さんの方から、そういったコミュニティメンバーで、その YouTube を視聴されている皆さんに質問とかありますか？
So these guys have audiences that come to their channels every day to ask them what they think about the game, and they ask what do you think we should do, and so these guys are talking to the audience, talking to massive audiences every day. So if he has questions or requests for them, yeah.
なんかご質問とか要望とか逆に平野さんの方から
新キャラ何が欲しいとかです新キャラ何が欲しいはそうですね。だから一応今回のゲームももちろん全てが全て対応できるわけじゃないですけど、個人的には一緒にやれることですごく限られてるかもしれないですけど、一緒に作っていくぐらいのつもりがいるので、本当にもし意見があったら欲しいなと思ってですね。例えばキャラクターもそうだし、こんなストーリー欲しいよねってのもあったら正直考えたいなと思うし。
Right, so what he first said was, what kind of characters do you want? It's very simple, but it is the core to a game, so we really want to know that. But basically, in terms of Dragon Ball Xenoverse 2, he's really hoping to listen to the wisdom of fans and and is willing to sort of like create the game together with the fans. Okay. So basically, anything that you want, we want you to say that. We might not be able to listen to every single character, but for example, if you want this character, if you want this sort of story, we just want those comments from the users. So that'd be great if you can share us your thoughts and ideas.
Right. Whatever was easier if we do a spreadsheet.
Yeah, we're gonna. So these guys talk to the audience every day, and they talk to us every day. Like, how can we tell you? How can we get that information out there? So I think we'll ask these guys specifically and some of their crew to put together like a shared doc of organizing everything, and then Hirano-san can look at the long list. Why not ask him to do that?
なので、かなりそもそも日頃もコミュニケーションをずっと取ってるんですよ、やってるメンバーで、彼らから通して一回コミュニティJ に行くんですね、情報が。で J が多分僕たちにすごい投げてくるんですけど、大量のリストがおそらく上がってくるんで、皆さんこのお願いをしなければよかったと面白いと思うかもしれない。
この辺でもすごい眉がれるでしょ、多分それ。
やんないですよね。He was just saying that maybe I'm going to cut off some of it. Before sending it to Hirano.
もちろんだからできることは本当多分そんな全てできないですし、やることなんて本当にどこが分かってないですけども、なんだろう、聞きたいものは純粋に聞きたいなと思っているところがあるので、はい、ここで見てくれれば大丈夫です。
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. We're pretty much out of time unless anybody has any.
I have one last question.
Yeah.
If there's one anime that you would want to work on outside of Dragon Ball, if you were to just do it, if it was your choice completely, what would that be?
ドラゴンボール以外も何でもいいんですけど、なんかアニメのタイトルにもし携われるとしたらどれですか？
難しいこと聞きますね。
Very difficult question.
難しいな、アニメか。それは国内のものでも海外のものでもそうです。
It can be either Japan only or maybe in the US.
Yeah, whatever.
Anything, whatever. 何でも大丈夫です。
そうですね。結構このところです。売れるかわかんないですけど、浪人検診。
Ooh. Yeah, that'd be beautiful.
All right. Well, thank you very much for your time.
I have one more.
Okay, quick.
Does Demigra have a father or any siblings?
ドミグラにお父さんか兄弟っていますか？
そうですね。言えないですね。はい。
Sorry, we can't say.
All right. Great way to end it. All right, thanks a lot. Thank you, Gary. Thank you very much.